School board races generally don't get a lot of attention. Mostly they are free of drama or controversy or partisanship. But oh no, not these days, and certainly not in Broward County.
One of the 4 school board members suspended by the governor in the wake of that scathing grand jury report is now running for re-election. Donna Korn served 3 terms on the board and is now asking voters to give her seat back. Zeman is running against her. He is CEO of an executive coaching firm, held senior executive positions in the U.S. Navy, and is a doctor of economics. And it's so great to have both of you here together for viewers to hear you and engage what's what.
Yeah, welcome. We are so glad you're here. Donna Korn, let's begin with the obvious question. Governor DeSantis suspended you and 3 other board members, would have been 5, but he suspended the board members after the grand jury report said that you and your fellow board members had mismanaged the Broward County public schools. You had been inept, malfeasance, maybe misfeasance as well. And the question now becomes, if you are elected once again to the board, what is to stop Governor DeSantis from suspending you for a second time?
Well, so first I want to thank you, Glenna and Michael, for inviting me to be part of the conversation. Very happy to answer the questions. I can tell you that the governor himself actually on many occasions has stated, in fact, even back in 2019, when he first issued the grand jury report, request that he did not have the authority at that time, based on the fact that we had been duly elected individuals. In addition to that, he actually, for others that he had suspended from office, made the statement that he would not then remove someone after they had been suspended, but then duly elected again. So on his own words, but in addition to that, there is not only Supreme Court rulings, but there's actually also past advisories from the Supreme Court that are not gray on this area. They are quite black and white. That once you have been duly elected to a new term, that the governor would not have the authority based on that grand jury to be able to remove board members again.
Zeman, so you are running against Ms. Korn for this seat. With all your background, give viewers a sense of what involvement you've had in Broward schools or any education that you would bring to a school board seat.
Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that question, Glenna. I mean, first and foremost, while I was working as a senior executive for the Navy, I ran the largest training and education system in the world. And as part of that job, I sat on the Department of Defense School Board, and helped do the board functions for a global public education system, one that's really the envy of the world. After I retired and started a business, I moved back here, and the mayor asked me to chair the city's Education Advisory Board, which I did for 5 years. And we experienced significant improvements, excuse me, in our educational achievement. So I have a lot of experience, both as an executive in training and education, and in Broward County schools.
Alan, I beg your pardon, go ahead.
I just wanted to follow up, thanks, real quickly. You mentioned the Department of Defense. That immediately sends my mind veering off into school security issues, and maybe, we go into this a little bit later, but the grand jury report, Donna Korn, was initially started because of what the governor's issues were with school security district-wide in the wake of Marjory Stoneman Douglas massacres. So I wonder if you would just answer really quickly, the grand jury report found that even after months later, years later, the school security improvements and changes that were mandated by the state still hadn't been done in the district. Would you address that?
Yes, sure. You mentioned in your introduction that the grand jury report was scathing, and it was. If you read the grand jury report, excuse me, you'll see things that really make your head, kind of spin around, make you scratch your head. And I think that my opponent is engaging in some wishful thinking if she thinks that Governor DeSantis wouldn't remove her in a heartbeat. I don't think he cares about Broward voters. He's not going to win this county. And in 2011, we had a commissioner in Miami that was removed twice. And she's also wrong on the legal front. This is not something you can appeal to the Florida Supreme Court. The Florida statute says you have to appeal it to the Florida Senate. And last I checked, the Florida Senate's 2/3 Republican. It's probably going to be close to that after November 8th. So I just have kind of continued to remind people that we're not forecasters of what Governor DeSantis is going to do. But if you care about students, it's just a risk that's too much to take given what's in the grand jury report.
Yeah. Donna, let's go back to the question I think that Glenn was asking you. 2014, as you well know, you were on the board then. Broward County voters approved an $800 million school renovation construction program. One of the things the grand jury said was, boy, this never happened, or it's happened way too slowly. It's been mismanaged. Were you aware of how badly that program was working?
So I'm going to take a quick step back, and I appreciate the question. So this grand jury was given a very clear directive from the governor, who had made a campaign promise. And basically the grand jury was utilized for that political purpose. What was identified in the grand jury has certainly spoken to several of the issues that even myself personally as a board member have been challenged in trying to help to direct the school district to be successful. And by the way, we've had some very great successes. In the meantime, those things that we've engaged over time are some of the things the grand jury pointed out, and we have since and had actually already been in the process of doing, such as having an external audit, having a bond oversight committee that reports quarterly to the board, that we actually give direction and to the superintendent to act on those bond oversight committee responses, as well as having Tax Watch to be an outside entity that consistently is giving us feedback. We actually changed our project management team. We changed first the management of it within the same company, then we changed to a new one. We also have continuously evaluated what are the most expensive parts of our construction bond program. One of those has been roofing. So we've had multiple different presentations, all in the public, in which we've made determinations as to why are these costs as exorbitant as they are. And then we've made decisions about what are some of the long-term goals with those dollars. These are taxpayer dollars, and we can't just make short-term decisions. Those decisions then sometimes may cost more than initially had been ascertained. But at the end of the day, the value to our school board, to our school district, to our students, to our families, and our community are what they're going to be able to take away.
Yeah. All right, Donna, if I can, let me jump in here. Sure. Alan Zeman, among your many other accomplishments, you know, when you were working for the Navy, you oversaw the reconstruction of Baghdad and Iraq. I mean, that's a pretty big job. So when you look here at the renovations to the Broward County Public Schools, what's your opinion?
Well, I just got to tell you, Michael, saying something doesn't make it so. So the independent Florida Tax Watch said it was a disaster. The supposedly political grand jury condemned the school board that didn't oversee it in the right way. So all the descriptions of it being a great success are just not borne out by the facts. The facts are it's way behind schedule. It's now costing us tons because it was so far behind schedule. You're right. I was the chief economist for Rebuilding Iraq. I spent $28 billion in 1 year.
Wow.
So this was an $800 million bond, and it's going to get done in 14 years. That's just not acceptable. I don't think voters will accept it. And unfortunately, there's been catastrophes. Like the middle school up the street from me had its roof cave in because it was 3 years behind schedule at getting replaced. This is just not something you can wish away.
We are going to take a very quick break. I invite you to sit tight, stay tuned, and we will see you back here for more discussion in 2 minutes. We are back with school board candidates, Broward School Board candidates, Alan Zeman, Donna Korn, both vying for a seat at a very interesting transitionary time on that school board. The superintendent, Vicki Cartwright, this week was almost fired, and the new chair, Tori Alston, had given her 90 days. The board gave her 90 days and 15 points of contention for her to improve upon. Of course, Dr. Cartwright took over really officially long-term in February at a time when she had a lot to handle in flux. So Donna Korn, let's start with you. Give us your take on the superintendent and her future.
So That's something that, in terms of the evaluation, I was disappointed when the board decided not to do an evaluation at the time. In fact, the contract and an agreed upon evaluation tool was set up specifically to stay focused on what's most important to education. And that is outcomes. That's deliverables for students and for our community. That was set aside. I'm very happy and looking forward to engaging in that evaluation when I come back as a school board member. And you know, we've accomplished a lot of things as a board. And when I think about, yes, the position that we're in, the superintendent certainly has helped us get to a place in which, for instance, the MSD commission chair called Broward County a model for safety. We have also been able to accomplish some tremendous things in our areas of certification, our JROTC program, entrepreneurship, things that are really remarkable. Those are the types of things that our superintendent needs to be evaluated on. Those are the things I'm looking forward to evaluating her on as I come back. 28 years as a businesswoman, I understand what the process is. And this is a process in which we have to be able to look at what is her responsibility, what are her deliverables. And as a mom, I know what that means. As a prior teacher here in Broward County, I know what that means. And I know that those who are supporting and endorsing me across this district understand that I've evaluated in the past and look forward to being able to evaluate her on just that, outcomes.
Alan Zeman, what's your take on the future of Dr. Cartwright and the 15 areas where the chair says she needs to improve and answer to?
You know, that was an interesting meeting, 13 hours. The chairman brought up 15 points that he felt and other members of the board felt needed improvement. I thought it was a healthy meeting. It ended in a good place. I appreciate Donna's newfound love of outcomes and measurable results. Unfortunately, she came into office and we were an A-rated school district, just like Miami-Dade and Palm Beach. But for the next 10 years of her service, we were rated B in the county. That is a fact. And that cannot be the case going forward. We have to be an A-rated school district in Broward County, and the superintendent has to play a major leadership role in helping to get us there. So we agree that superintendents need to be assessed primarily based on measurable outcomes. But Donna and I fundamentally disagree about whether the last 10 years as a B-rated school district is okay. To me, being okay is not okay.
Here is a question for both of you, and Alan, let me begin with you. I think it's a given the pandemic had a profound adverse effect on education in the country, certainly in South Florida, in Broward County. We just, I think a few weeks ago, saw the NAEP results were released, and as I read them overall, with fourth graders and eighth graders in Broward County, roughly, 45% or so in math, science, and reading are not performing at grade level. And this is really unacceptable. So Alan Zeman, what would be your plan to get those kids learning more, learning better?
Thanks, Michael. And for your viewers, it's real easy to remember. The results at the end of the pandemic for English is 2 decades prior to the pandemic. We lost 20 years of progress in English, and in math, we lost 3 decades of progress. But unfortunately, we don't have a plan in place right now to do the fundamental things that we need to do to overcome this COVID slide. And we have to do it. We have to find more time for academics. We have to make sure that summer schools and breaks include more academic remediation. We have to give people time and the freedom to teach and to follow the instructional systems design that we know can move people forward. So to be honest with you, this is going to be a challenge. It's going to take us years to fix, but we have to have a specific plan that involves more time learning, not more time doing other things. And we have to find partnerships with our cities, with our teachers union, with our principals association. And we have to get serious about this, Michael, because this is an emergency and we have to treat it just like one.
Donna, Korn, let's have your answer. What would be your plan to bring kids up to performing at grade level? Because many of them are not.
So I'm going to speak to that as well as speak to the overall progress. So I think there's been a misstatement to think that the only thing important to a community is actually a grade. And we were, by the way, 1 point away from that A grade. The reality is in my time as being a school board member, we have actually reduced the gap for our Black students from a 12.3% all the way down to a 6.1%, just from 2016-17 to 2021. Additionally, we've taken our graduation rate up from 81% to 89.1%. That's that many more students walking across the stage and having that future. And unfortunately, I don't, if Mr. Zeman thinks that we don't have a plan, we haven't had a plan as a school district, he's not actually been paying attention to what we're doing. We've had a very specific plan, one in which incorporates a great deal of tutoring. That tutoring is in group tutoring. It's in one-on-one, it's in extended days. It's in additional time that we've done over our spring break and our winter break, extended time that we've been able to offer summer school. Those are things that are actually helping to bring back that gap. There is no question it was dramatic losses for our kids.
Yeah, Donna, Korn,
emotionally.
Alan Zeman, I know it sounds like I'm cutting you right off, and that's because we gotta go. Break time for us. Deeply appreciative of your time, both of you, and we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you both so much for being with us. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Michael.
it.
Thanks, Glenna.